Tom, and this is 100 Days of Making Minis. This is day 30, and that means I've technically been at this a month. Started in February, and we're into March now, and I'm going strong. I'm feeling really good about it. I'm looking at the wrong lens. Feeling good about it, and I'm excited to keep going. So today I continued to work on the Vulture. I got a little farther. I'll show you the video of it in a second. But before that, I want to say another thing I was working on today was I was looking over logo that I'm having designed for this little line of miniatures that I'm going to put out soon. And you know, I've been trained as a graphic designer. I've worked as a graphic designer my whole life, but when it comes to stuff like this, especially in my personal time, I'd much rather be sculpting than doing it, and I'd much rather hire somebody that can do a killer job on it too. And so that's why I reached out to my friend Chris Doman at chrisdomandesign.com. I'll put the link down in the description so you can check him out. And he's doing an awesome job on the logo. I can't wait. I can't believe I'm going to have something so cool and professional looking to put at the front of my miniature line when I launch it on Kickstarter. If any of you have graphic design needs, whether it's a logo, layout, Chris loves working in the game industry, and he's done tons of layout and design for the Mercs Minis guys, MegaCon Games rather. If you've played Myth, basically if you saw an icon, Chris did it. A lot of the logos that went on with the game, especially in the expansions, Chris did it. So yeah, he's awesome at this stuff. So check it out. And now let me show you what I worked on the Vulture. I always get questions on what putty I'm using on a particular figure at any given time. I must not say it enough, especially on these 100 days, going from day to day. I forget to reiterate it. So I'll say this again. This miniature, I am using a mix of Procreate and Aves epoxy sculpt. So it's self-curing. You just add on a little bit at a time, and it will, you can just keep going, and it'll cure up nice and hard. Anyways, I say all this to say that whenever I'm working in polyclay, I just work in it. It's no big deal. It doesn't take any getting used to. It just works. But every time that I leave or take a break from working in putty, I'm always shocked at how it takes me a few sessions to get back into things. So, I started with the rib cage, and I'm happy with how it turned out, but, it felt like a fight, and it took a while to do. And then the next day, I worked on the spine and the pelvis part, and that went smoother, but it still wasn't quite there. And then today, it was like nothing. I just put the putty on, did exactly what I wanted to do, what I needed it to do, and I really like how it turned out, working on these legs. So and it hit me again. This is something I was just terrible at understanding and accepting about putty, and that is that you really need to let it rest for a few minutes before you really get into it. You can you should put the putty on right away once you've mixed it up while it's very soft, and try and get it into a general shape. But after that, you really need to just leave it alone for 5 minutes minimum, because it will change so much in that little bit of time from being really soft and malleable to setting up just that little bit more, that it becomes almost a whole new material. And if you work it constantly through that soft period, you kind of don't give it a chance to set up a little bit and give it a little more hold and a chance to try and retain some of that initial form you gave it. But it always takes me a couple sessions to get back into that. So that's your big tip there for the day if you're working on putty. And I say all this because that used to frustrate me, because I would never wait. I always felt like I had to go into it right away and it made sculpting in putty a nightmare. And that's why I was so thankful when I found Fimo. But now, that I kind of accepted that, and I work with the putty the way it needs to be worked, I'm liking it more and more, and I'm always very thrilled with the end result. Even when I fight it, when I was fighting it and not, giving it that chance to kind of set up a little bit. Yeah, I'm glad I'm doing this figure in putty, and I'm excited to get started on the Swords Girl. She's going to be in putty too. So, all right, this is a bit of a longer one for today. Hope you enjoyed. Hope you found some helpful tips. And don't forget to check out Chris Doman's website at chrisdomandesign.com. He's awesome. All right, I'll see you guys tomorrow.